Here with Wolters World, and today we are going to be talking about retirement and baby boomer advice with a boomer and a retiree. Mom, you want to say hi?
Hi,
Well, she can do more. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Kathy Wolters, the proud mother of Mark, but a fellow traveler who loves to see the world.
Yes, and my mom's been to, I don't know, 30, 40 countries?
Probably 35.
35.
countries.
And she's been with me in, I don't know, like 28 of them. So she goes on her own too. She just doesn't hang with me. She's been to places I haven't been, so I gotta look up to her sometimes and get advice from her. And what we want to do on today's video, for our usual fans that are watching and that get involved and want to ask questions and stuff, this is really going to focus on retiree travel. Maybe empty nesters, your kids are going to college, or maybe you're a little bit older, and you want to go and explore more. And we're going to talk about some of those things because it is kind of important, when you're going to be a retiree and you want to travel. Because a lot of people say, that's their biggest thing. When I retire, what do they
I
want
want
to
to travel.
They
I want to
travel.
go here. I want to go there.
I mean, my parents. So if you look at it from our perspective, did you guys travel internationally very much before retirement?
Yeah. After I retired, I traveled a lot
You
more.
retired.
I traveled a little bit when Mark was in certain places,
Yeah,
or if I went with kids and was a chaperone.
Yeah. So, but once you both retired, then things really.
Then we could travel not just once a year or twice a year, but we could travel every month if we wanted to,
Yeah.
if you can afford it.
Yeah, and it's not just traveling, other countries. They travel around the U.S. and all kinds of things like that. So it was pretty good. Anyway, so I see that no one's watching our video today. I guess the live stuff isn't so popular as it used to be. It doesn't send out the notifications. So hopefully you're watching this when you are, at another time. One of the things I would say, we're going to go through some of the kind of typical issues that people do have when they do travel as a retiree, and so we're going to go through some of those. And one of the things I guess you'd look at is, what's the difference between being a normal kind of traveler and a retiree that's a traveler? Can you think of anything?
Well, you're usually maybe a little older, you're a little more mature, and you may have more time, but you may have less money. Or that's why it's a great idea to start traveling when your kids get to college and you have some freedom, or they're out, you're an empty nester. You can start traveling then. But travel before that. And also think about bringing your families with you, or having, like we do when we travel together. But enjoy traveling no matter what your age is, and plan ahead. Where is it you'd like to go? What would you like to see?
Yeah, and that's one thing we've seen with a lot of because we have fans that range from 15 years old to 95-year-olds that travel. And one of the things we see a lot of people say is, as you get older, anybody that has gotten older, you realize it's tougher to do stuff.
It is.
And
you don't hear as well. Maybe your attention span might be even shorter, or you're interested in something else.
And that's one of the things. What I see with retirees, where they get the biggest benefit, is when they start to travel with things they're inspired by.
That's right.
Maybe my mom, she's really big in genealogy now, so we're talking about traveling. We're going to go to Bremerhaven in Germany to see where the family came from Germany and get the records there. You find these things you get a passion about, and that really can be much more helpful in a retirement, because you can go and focus on your things, not just the kids want to go to Disney World.
No, there's just so much more to life to explore, and by traveling, it is a world where you can experience different cultures, different lifestyles, and enjoy. And it has a way of inspiring you, and it also gives you an appreciation for what you have here.
Yeah. Now, some other things we kind of want to talk about, because one of the big issues people have asked about is insurance. And so my parents, they're over 60. They're
Yes,
over
we're
65.
over 60, yeah.
They're over. But the thing is with
I'm not
insurance,
a day over 59. As Mark
exactly.
says.
She's a day over 59 for a long time, very long time. But when you start to look at it, with insurance stuff, what do you do for insurance? Does Medicare take care of you when you're going abroad, or what are some of your advice?
You need to think about your own insurance, and when you're offered insurance with either any of your tour groups or through your airlines, or if you have a travel agent who's making arrangements, tell them up front, I want to buy insurance, because that's the only insurance you're going to have. Otherwise, you're going to end up paying for it out of pocket. Now, if your pocket's big, you might be able to handle that, but many of us can't. And so you want to make sure you have insurance because things happen, and your travel agencies and your tours are counting on somebody's going to get sick, somebody's not going to go, and we're going to fill that spot. So plan ahead.
Yeah.
Insurance, you need a different insurance because Medicare is not going to cover you when you travel in those other countries. If you need a helicopter ride to somewhere, or you need to be flown back home, you need a good insurance plan.
Yeah, and the thing is your insurance plan, you don't just have to be a retiree for that. Anytime we go international, we buy the insurance that comes with the flight. They have that offer there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get it other times, but sometimes it's only when you buy it they give you that option. Then you have pay a much more expensive option on top of that. Also with insurance, sometimes it could be with your credit card. They might give you some insurance in terms of your pay or travel expenses or something like that. So make sure you read the fine print on those travel credit cards or whatever you're using, and see which ones might come with insurance boosters. Because we've seen people that you had one there was a doctor on the boat, right, or something like.
Yeah, we were in China and we were on a tour, fortunately, and I had a horrible sinus infection and we had like 5 flights. And I got to the boat and I was absolutely sick, and I had a sinus infection and I couldn't breathe. And my tour guide said, "Would you like to see the doctor?" Now most of the time I probably would have said no, but I was feeling bad. I said yes. And that was the best thing I did because that doctor gave me medicine immediately. He gave me a shot. He was a Chinese doctor. And he also gave me some throat lozenges that I've never seen better throat lozenges than the ones I got in China.
Yeah, they got some good stuff in China, let me tell you, man.
Typically with those sore throats, with the sinus infection, they go on and on. I'm telling you, those little pills took care of it.
Yeah, and the thing is when you're looking at the medical care, she's had her stuff. I've broken a collarbone. Caleb's fallen down a flight of stairs. Liam had his hand smashed, so we had to go to get x-rays. It's not an enjoyable experience when these things happen, and that's why you want to make sure you don't have another enjoyable experience with the bill that comes.
And you can buy, if you're traveling independently on your own and you have a hotel or you're working with, say, an apartment group, which we were when we were going to go to France, and so I needed to know if there was round-the-clock medical service available. And yes, there is. You can buy it, and it's available.
And that's the thing, is a lot of the things we're going to talk about, it sounds silly, but if you've got the money, pay it to make that difference, whether it's upgrading a cruise or a hotel room or something like that, because it might be more to be on the ground floor or not have to have an elevator. But you know what? It's worth it if you need it. And when you were talking about when you were on, they were doing a cruise in China and they upgraded to the nicer buffet, and it made a really big difference because it had a much more better experience. And that's one of the things. It's tough because when you're a retiree, you're kind of on a fixed income.
Yeah. And that wasn't that much of a cost to upgrade, but we ate in a nicer room. It was more, there were more Americans there. Our laundry was taken care of. It was just better service. So in some cases and in some places when you're going to be in a large group and you're going to be the minority, I would say it's a great idea to think about upgrading.
Yeah, because then you'll get to
we were comfortable.
Yeah. And the thing is sometimes if you're on cruises, which are very popular with retirees, that upgrade isn't that much. It might look like it, but when you get there, ask when you check in. Say, hey, are there any more staterooms available? Did someone drop out? Because there might be that, and you can get it for a little bit of a deal. Okay. Now you were talking about what were some other things you want to talk about? Maybe we should talk about when you travel as a retiree, the packing issues. You want to talk about some of those things? Okay. So first off, medicine. You want to say something about medicine?
Okay. Get ready to travel. I would say, with medicines, and especially if you're on a fixed income and you're not going to get your pills further than a month in advance, then you really need to watch prior to when you're going to depart where your prescription is. So you want to make sure that you take even more of a supply of medicine than what you think you'll use, just in case your trip gets delayed.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've seen, because I've taken groups around, and these are college students, and some of them had their meds, and because they were sick or they needed stuff or they just had medicine, and they just brought it up just for that day, and then our flight got delayed. I'm like, if you miss that one connector flight, it doesn't mean you're going to be 3 hours late. It can be sometimes it can be 2 days later,
or it can be 4 days later. Yeah. When we got stuck in Prague at Christmas time.
Yeah, they got. It was 4 or 5 days they were stuck there, and you need to have that backup. And the thing is when we look at our medicines and stuff like that, we have a video on what to pack in your carry-on, what not to put in your checked bags. Medicine is one of
Yeah.
those things. You want to keep that with you all the time. And some people worry, it's like, well, it's going to fill up my carry-on. Then it fills up your carry-on. Okay, because you do not want to be without that, because you can't just head to the doctor and they're going to give you that prescription abroad. You know, think about it. If someone came to a doctor here, hey, I need some pain pills, do the doctors just give him it? No. And so you got to think about that.
And they're handy little devices that you can buy so that every day your pills are all together, and anybody that uses those. But there's also Travel Smith or some of the other groups have little packing pill cases that work out very well, don't take up much space, and it's counted out day by day. So if that's an issue, that's a great resource for you. But medicines, you cannot, even medicines for diarrhea or
Sleeping, you can't
sleeping,
sleep. Or
yeah.
thing is, it goes U.S. versus abroad. I can get really strong ibuprofen abroad for nothing, but if I try to get strong ibuprofen in the U.S., you need a prescription.
Yeah.
Now, one person wrote on here, Beep848 says, do I really need insurance if I'm traveling in Europe? Ain't medical free. Well, here's the thing is, some medical care is free, and some of it you're allowed to get, and some of it you're not allowed to get. And what I've seen is Jocelyn, our youngest son Liam, was born in Portugal, and we could have had the free baby stuff there, but we paid to be in the private hospital because it was a much better experience. Not having a room with 9 other people, she had a room to herself. And sometimes it is worth it to have it. And if you're going to be buying flights, it's like my buddy that wants us to go to Dubai on there, Joe Bone. I will be going to Dubai. A buddy of mine's wanting to go with me. Jocelyn wants to go too. So I just got to figure out how we're going to do it for a good shopping trip there. So if you got an idea of a good time to go to Dubai, let us know. When you go there, the insurance is so relatively cheap when you buy your ticket. Sometimes just to have it. I mean, we've actually never really had to use it except for in China. And we got all our money back, no problem. It just took some time. But it really is one of those things. It's more of it makes you feel better inside. Like, look, just in case I'm worried, I'll be okay. So there is that. What else? In terms of the medical stuff, if you know you get sick, like if you know you get the runs or diarrhea or whatever you want to call it, if you ever get into those things, we always bring a bunch of our meds with us. We always have a little med kit with us. It sounds silly, but when we travel with me, Jocelyn, the boys, and sometimes my parents will come too, or my mother-in-law will come and come visit too, or come travel with us. Any kind of thing they have, we know we bring it with us, so the just in case kind of things. And with the throat lozenges she's talking about, we always have our Strepsil we get abroad because we think it's so much better. And you get those things. And so that's why I always say, it's like, man, any kind of medical stuff, talk to the tour you're going to be on or the cruise, your hotels. That's another thing. The hotels you talk to.
Hotels have resources.
Yeah, the hotels have resources too to find you doctors and stuff like that. You want to talk about the ones in France?
Oh, well, that was an
apartment company.
It was an apartment company.
Perfectly Paris. We love them. If you're looking for
Yeah.
apartments in Paris, Perfectly Paris is who we use.
Because we were scheduled to have an apartment there, and my husband was not well, and so I wanted to make sure that he would have care, and so they recommended this particular service, and I purchased that, and it was available not only in Paris but also outside of Paris in Normandy. So, find that if you have some issues and you're kind of fearful of going, talk to people where you're going, talk to your hotel, your concierge, because they'll be helpful. They want you to have a good experience, or we were going to be at a B&B, and I talked to the B&B owner, and she said, oh sure, we can get you a room that has a window in it that's on a lower level and has access to a restroom, and because that's what my husband wanted and needed, and so
Okay.
ask.
Yeah. And hey, I see, because I when we do this on my phone, I do the Wolters World then. And I have another one on there. You'll see Mark Wolters pop up. That's me as well. And I'm seeing the video keeps pixelating. So hopefully the audio still works out. We have Comcast. We have nice Comcast here at my parents' house. They have even nicer than I do. And you can see how internet people suck everywhere. Anyway. Some other things I want to say to look at is if we look at just general safety advice, because we went through medical stuff, but there are safety things. Because I'm not going to lie to you, my mom is a beautiful, mature woman, and you know what? The robbers there think she's beautiful too, because she think she's old, she can't run after me, and she probably doesn't speak the local language.
And she's got money.
And that's one thing is, don't think the scumbag POSs that rob people just pick on middle-aged guys like me. No, they'll go for the easiest target. They'll rob from kids. They'll rob from older people as well. So you need to be careful. Always keep your stuff on you. That helpful tourist might not be so helpful. You want to tell about your time in Barcelona?
Well, yes. All of a sudden, I felt something hit the back of my coat. And this guy came up. Oh, that's pigeons. Pigeons. They dropped it on you. Well, no, it wasn't pigeon poop. It was somebody used something and threw it on me. And what they wanted me to do was they wanted my backpack because they figured my backpack had some really good stuff in it. Well, ha ha on them. No, it didn't. But anyway, so they're very helpful. Too helpful. So watch out for anybody that's too helpful.
Yeah, and the thing is, the person that robs you isn't necessarily the person that's too helpful. It's their friend back there. So you say, hey, that guy's the one who was there. Well, I didn't do anything. He doesn't have anything. So you do be careful. If you don't feel comfortable, just don't give it away. Also, I would also recommend if you are using tour groups or using tour buses and stuff like that, anything that's really important to you, keep on you in the bus, not underneath the bus. Because you know what? I mean, weren't you on a tour in Rome? You want to talk about that?
We were in Chicago coming back from being in Europe. And there was a gal there who had been on a tour in Rome. And she said to us, she said, is there a possibility I could use your phone? Because she said, I was robbed. I had put my important stuff in my carry-on. And I had given my carry-on and my suitcase to the guy to put it on the bus. And somebody came by, whizzing by, and took her bag and several other bags. And guess what? All of her important papers and her money and her phone were in her bag, not on her. And so here she was in the Chicago airport, and she had no resources and no way to call.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Hi, Louise. Louis, how are you doing, buddy? Hope things are going well. Yes, I would recommend. Oh, that's the thing is because we only have, 70% of the people that watch our videos are actually from outside the U.S., and they might ask the same thing. You may think, my insurance from Europe will be fine. Look, the price of healthcare in the U.S. is insane. Insane. So really, if you're going to come to the U.S., I highly recommend getting insurance coming here, because even if it's a little thing, you go to the ER, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's why if you come to the US and you do get a little sick, you'll see these walk-in clinics. Not the emergency room. The walk-in clinics tend to be cheaper. And if you have like a sore throat, or if you have earache, or you twisted your ankle, they can do the little things for a fraction of the cost of going to the hospital. So that would be one thing I'd want to recommend to you. Now, some other things I want to kind of talk about with the safety thing is actually kind of goes with your packing. Okay, you want to pack light, because what happens if you pack too much stuff? You want to talk about that one, or?
Well, it makes you more vulnerable. Number one, it's harder to carry a suitcase. And in Europe or many other places, you are always going upstairs. Yeah. So how are you going to get those suitcases up your stairs? Don't count on somebody else. Oh, and then there's the airplane, and people who have huge suitcases, and here they are. I can't get it up there. There's this big guy here. Will you help me put that up there? So don't be dependent on somebody else. You have to be able to carry your own weight.
Yeah, I've helped out lots of older travelers putting way too heavy stuff above there.
Or young people.
Or young people that have too much stuff. And the thing is like, look, I can help you on the train going there, but I can't help. If I get off before you, how are you going to get that down? That's one of the things you really got to think about. And I've seen not just older, but any travelers, when they have too much stuff, you're such an easy target, because you got a backpack on the front and you're dragging something behind you. Man, I can come and get that wallet like that. I can't tell you how many times I've seen travelers going, man, if I was an unscrupulous person, I could totally rob you. But you got to really watch out for those things. Other things, really, when you pack lighter, it's just easier to get around.
Who wants to, many times you're in a hotel and you're just, or on a cruise, you're on a ship or something, you have a small space. So what are you going to do with all this stuff? Well, the best thing is just to wear it, and then just take fewer items. You can get by with 10 articles or 12 articles. I teach people how to pack with, for in a carry-on for 2 or 3 weeks. There are washing facilities available. Pack light, wear your stuff. Who's going to see you 4 days in a row? Maybe somebody on your tour, but you can change that up. So it's just better not to have so much stuff, because then you lose stuff. You're putting stuff maybe in a drawer. Well, you forget to get it out of the drawer.
Yeah. Some other stuff. So one person writes, how is public transportation in Eastern Europe? What should I be aware of? This is for public transport in general. Within anywhere in Europe, it's way better than anywhere in the U.S. or other parts of the world, I find. Even in the East, you will have good public transport. It might not be the nicest buses, but they will go all over the place, and the service might be a bit slower, and it won't be as fancy, but it will get you where you want to go. So that is a little bit nicer that way. And what's cool is if you're in Eastern Europe, a lot of times the prices are cheaper. So sometimes you want to do a taxi or an Uber kind of thing. You can do those for a fraction of the price you would back home. So that could be really helpful. I will say one thing: if you're in some countries, if you do use Uber and you link up to your PayPal account, some of them don't accept that, so you have to link a credit card account to your account as well. So just a heads up for that one. Let's see. Someone wrote, Paulson and Brauberg wrote, should I get a health plan for Russia? Look, anywhere you go, we're saying get a health plan. Even if you don't think anything's going to go wrong, the minuscule price that it is worth it for me. Okay. Now, some other. Oh, sorry.
Peace of mind.
The peace of mind. Just because you feel better, especially. You don't have to be a boomer. I travel with my kids when they were babies. And little kids get sick. I want to make sure if we need that, we can go to it. Yeah. Most of the time we don't use it, thank God, but sometimes you do.
And you don't think you're going to fall down. But remember, I've twisted my ankle before, and the other day I just hit a step, missed a step. So, things happen.
Yeah, I've twisted my ankle so many times, they're like elephant legs, and I've fallen. It's bad. I've shattered collarbones, all kinds of stuff. Not that you think it would happen, but it does happen. So be careful with that. Now, some other stuff I want to talk about. If you are a boomer traveler or a retiree traveler or an older traveler, there are a lot of discounts around the world for people that are over 60 or 65 or 70, depends where you're at. And you want to use those advantages for you. So you might want to let them know, oh, we're 65, we're 72, we're 80. You'll be surprised that sometimes hotels will have discounts, for AARP discounts or something like that, retiree discounts, but also tickets to museums.
Very much so.
Very many museums have that for over 65s. And if you look young, like my mom, you might need to show your ID. It's like going to get alcohol. Got to show my ID again. You don't look like you're 65, lady. She's like, oh, thanks. So you have that. Also, one of the big mistakes that I see with retiree travelers is they keep traveling like when they had kids. And they keep traveling in June, July, August, which are peak season. You're going to pay a huge plus charge for flying at those time of years. If you fly in April or March, or you go in September, October, the prices, they drop like a rock, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the prices are better and the crowds are much better because you don't have so many people trying to see the same thing. And that is really an advantage, and especially if you're taking, if you're any type of traveling, whether it's by mass transit or whether it's in a car, fewer cars, it's just, you get to see what you want. Now, some things may be closed, the hours may be shortened, but if you're on your own, or even if you're in a group, they will arrange that. But sometimes there are more options in the off season. Now, at Christmas time, we talked about, that's a great time to do family travel because you've got the Christmas markets, and there are things for kids, and there are things for grandma and grandpas. There are things for the parents too. So everybody can enjoy the same activity in a Christmas market.
Yeah, and one of the things is Beep 848 just wrote, Mark, we are planning a Rhine River cruise. Has your mom or dad gone on one? Pros or cons?
Pros or cons? Okay, we've been on cruises. Now we've been on cruises in Russia.
China.
We were on a South American cruise. Let's see.
Greece.
So.
And then you've been on. Have you been on another? I think you've been on more than 4.
No. Four is about. I think 4 is it.
Oh, okay.
But those Rhine trips, we've had many friends that have gone on those Rhine cruises, and they enjoy them. It's pretty much. The limitations I see with the cruise, rather than going with Mark or going with another couple, is that it is planned out. It is scripted. You have to follow. You got to be here at a certain time. So maybe you only have 2 hours to see something. Maybe you have at most 4 hours. And sometimes, if you're an independent traveler like we are, it's a little frustrating. So. Yeah. But again, it's an easier cruise. It's easier to travel. You're taken care of. Your flights are arranged. You're going to have a hotel at the beginning or the end possibly, and then you're going to be on the boat the rest of the time. They're going to feed you, they're going to water you, they're going to make sure that there are restrooms handy. They're going to lead you by, oh, you want to go here, or you want to go there, But that's great.
Yeah, and that's cool. And the thing is like you said, with the pros and cons, there's some really good stuff because they do it all for you. You don't have to think about it. But I would say one of my big cons, like my mom was alluding to, is you don't have the freedom on a cruise. But the thing is, some people don't want that freedom. Like, look, I just want to get a rough idea. I want to see a lot of places quickly. Those cruises can be great. I was on a Kwasi cruise this summer. It was great. I mean, yes, everyone was like 80 years old or 75 years old, but I had a great time hanging out with them. And that's one of the things, you want to look at these cruises. You really want to do your research on them. What's their typical clientele? What's their age groups and stuff like that? Because like Kwasi, who I was with, I mean, that cruise is basically, it's all French and it's all 70 plus. And then there was me, okay? But I
at his table.
No, the whole boat. Like that was it, okay? But I made some great friends when I was there. That's what's really cool. And you can make really good friends on these cruises because you're with these people a lot. One of the things though, with the cruise stuff, like we said, is you don't have the free time for it. But also, one person's problem is everybody's person's problem. Because what happens if think about it. If someone's late to get back, you're either waiting for them, so everyone hates you because we're waiting for you, or guess what? They leave without you. And if you're going to be on one of those bigger cruises, like not the riverboat cruise because those are smaller, but those bigger ones, they take off without you, and you get to pay. And they'll probably have a way to help you figure out how to get to the next port, but you have to pay for it to figure it out, and that can cost a lot. And then everyone knows that's that dude that missed the boat, so you want to be careful with that. So Paulson and Bromberg also wrote, is it possible to travel the whole of the Danube? You can do a lot of the Danube. Like there's a lot of Danube river cruises from like Vienna to Budapest, and you can do different sections and different parts. Going the whole way down, it's going to get a bit boring. Honestly, I would say like do a part and then, do a train to go see some other stuff and hit another part like the Vienna, Bratislava, Budapest kind of stuff. So there is that. So I hope that kind of helps you.
And at either end, they could plan if they wanted to see more at the beginning or the ending. You can extend your trips or you can start early if you're on a cruise.
Yeah. Some other things we want to talk about with traveling is one of the things is when you're a retiree or when even you're an empty nester, your kids are older like I'm older versus my mom. You have that. You might want to look at what we call multi-generational traveling. That's grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, and the grandkids. And that's something that we've actually done for a number of years. We've gone on trips with my parents a lot of times, and it's great. Like I travel every single month. Okay, my parents travel, 3 times a year or something like that, and we'll do at least one of the trips together, right? Like my mom and I and my dad, we're going to be going to Germany here, to go see Christmas markets because you know what, we haven't gone travel for a while. Last year we were in Peru and France together. A year before that, where we go.
Well, several years ago we went to Russia when you were there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Russia. And then with the China one, you came to China when I was working there. And
so
we'll have these things. But what's cool about the multi-generational one is if you're looking to do something that's going to give your family true family memories, you do something like this. Because now it's not like you talk about a vacation and you're talking about their vacation and no one really cares. You can talk about, remember when we did this? Remember, when Caleb had his first bratwurst. And then he had 2 bratwursts when he was like 3 years old. His first bratwurst in Berlin. He's like, "Oh, this is good." And he's like, "Can I have another?" I'm like, "Dude, you say like a half-meter bratwurst. You want another? You're like this big." He's like, "More." And it was cool because you can have those things. And my kids,
and the snowball.
Yeah, the snowball. Yeah. And the thing is, our kids really identify with their grandparents now because they have real experiences with them. And the thing is, it's a really great experience. But one of the things you got to realize is there are issues when you do the multi-generational thing. My mom likes to shop. Not a big fan. My brother, not a big fan. But Jocelyn loves it. So my mom and Jocelyn will go wander off, and my dad and I will take the boys and go play. And you're going to have these different things that you want to focus on. And that's one thing you got to worry about is making sure you're finding stuff for everybody. Hi, Sliced Kiwi. So you want to say something about you want to add anything to that?
Well, it does build memories, and it sometimes you need to babysit for the grandkids because maybe the parents want to do something else, or maybe they just want to go have a drink and have some time
a date
together. A date, yes, a date.
A date with my wife? Oh, please. That's just crazy talk.
And I guess on the other side too, it's like you're traveling on a train together, so you can have some activities that you can do together, and you can play, IC as we call it. So you build some memories and some experiences, and you can read, to your grandchildren. You can discover things together. If there's something that as an adult, like I enjoy historic costumes, so you go and you see a few historic costumes, but you don't take the kid on the whole thing, but you say, this is something I enjoy doing or seeing. So find those things that you can and build some memories with those grandchildren.
Yeah. Another thing I would say is that there's always the money issue. If you're going to be traveling with multi-generational travel, you got to figure out who's paying for what. Because if you're retired, you're on a fixed income. I'm still working full time. I got 2 jobs and doing all this kind of stuff. And then both my parents are retired. Well, my mom's semi-retired. She does her image consulting business, but they're both retired. So you have to look at it in terms of the money side of things. So sometimes, if your kids can't pay everything, maybe you help out a little bit. Or if the kids can pay, you need to have that conversation
or you balance it out. I'm going to pay for this meal. You're going to pay for that meal.
Or I'll get the hotels, you get the flights. You figure these things out so that no one feels like beholden to someone else, because it's not cheap to do it. I mean, think about it. We're taking 6 people. That is not a cheap thing. And you're not getting one hotel room or one apartment. Well, sometimes we get one apartment, but you're going to get multiple stuff, so that adds on to the price.
I think that's another good point, that if you're going to do that, the apartments is a good way to go, because it actually is cheaper than getting the hotel rooms, and so many times they don't want to put more than 2 people in a hotel room in Europe.
Yeah, and in Japan, sometimes they cap it at 3, so you got to get 2 rooms. So a lot of times it's cheaper to get that apartment. And I will say, with multi-generational traveling, that apartment, the kids get tired of walking around. You get tired of walking around. Do you want to sit back in the hotel or have room to get around? And so that's one of the things I'd really say.
And you can eat, you can fix food, so you can save some money there.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat out as much, and you could do breakfast and lunch, and then just go out to eat for dinner, or eat lunch out and fix dinner at home.
Yeah, because you get a lot of lunch deals, so you can have the good food at a good price. So I would recommend, eating your big meal at lunch when you travel, and then eating in, if you're going to eat it in, to save money for the evening stuff. One person wrote earlier up there, it's like Kartoffel, my potato friend, I think. the Kartoffelhunden, so the potato little female dog, writes, any advice for an experienced traveler with an inexperienced traveler in Europe? Well, here's a
great question.
That is an awesome question.
That is a great question.
So I travel a lot, and my parents were pretty good travelers and stuff. But I've gone with my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and stuff, and they hadn't traveled as much. And also, I take groups of students that some of them, they never got a passport before. And you're right. Sometimes when you're experienced traveling experience with inexperienced travel, it can be frustrating. Like, oh, you should know how to get the tickets. Oh, you should know that it's euros here and pounds there. Look, if you're going with someone that is inexperienced, be open-minded. Realize there's things that you might be able to help them with. If you can think about the things before you go, remind them about it. That's why we have all these videos. What's the money like in Europe? What you should know before you go to Europe? What you should know before you go to China? So it kind of helps them. You can hey, check out these Wolters World videos or other videos. Like I was watching Abroad in Japan or something like that. That guy was awesome talking about stuff. But it helps it to prepare them. But honestly, patience is the biggest thing you'll need to have. But one thing I saw is I went with my aunt. Oh, I love my aunt. I think she's, before she went to Europe with us, I think she maybe was in 3 states in her life, okay? She's the sweetest person in the world. I love my Aunt Barb. She's awesome. But she never traveled before outside the U.S. And when I went with her, it was like I was seeing everything again for the first time, because she was so excited for everything. She's like, oh, that's that. I'm like, yeah, that's Wittenberg. That's where he nailed Wittenberg's. Yeah,
being Lutheran, Augsburg. This would be very important.
Yeah, Augsburg,
for those of
for
that
her.
aren't Lutheran.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, I made sure we found places that was important to her. Because I've already been to Paris and Munich and stuff like that. You might be like, well, let's go see the other things. You got to balance the kind of touristy spots with the let's see the other things, because they haven't seen it all. So we did go Berlin with her, and we did do Salzburg with her,
and we did Dresden,
and we did Dresden,
Meissen.
But we went to Meissen, which is where they made the pottery. We made some other little stuff too. So
in Salzburg.
So use your experience to help them out. Do you have anything you want to add to experience versus non-experience to help them out?
Sometimes people are so excited that they make you excited, but sometimes it gets they're loud or than what you might be. And so you need to say, people over here are kind of quiet, so you might want to use your soft, your more of a whispering voice rather than your loud voice. But it's fun to go with somebody new, but it's also, you're introducing them to a culture, and so you have, like Mark said, you have to use your patience. And you can get lost easily, or they can get you lost. Sometimes when, you don't record where you're parked, you can end up looking for your car in the wrong parking lot. And so again, write down the parking lot, or take a picture of it, or know the street that you're parked on, because that happens. And you can also so help those who are newbies.
And Beep848 just posted this thing and said, I been to Germany, but got excited last trip because we found Kölsch beer. And that's one thing, as an experienced traveler, you're kind of like, I've got my blinders on because I know that an experienced traveler can help you learn new things, because they might do research you didn't think about. So like Beef's like, oh, we found Kölsch beer. This beer that comes in a small glass you have in Cologne. You're like, oh wow, I never knew that. And sometimes that inexperienced traveler can really help you out.
Yeah, look, before you go, look in the travel books, listen to Mark's, figure out some places that are unique, that interest you, because then when you go with a friend, you can say, well, I'd like to see this, and what would you like to see? And so it is a partnership, and you help each other find and enjoy the trip, and then you share those memories for a lifetime.
And that's why Joe Bowen wrote to house the kids. The kids are good. Caleb is with his papu, Jocelyn's dad. He's having a papu weekend at Camp Papu. And Liam right now is at the park with my dad. And Jocelyn's in Maine right now with her friend Lori, having a girls' trip, because you can't be with me all the time. You sometimes need a break. So she's going there with her friends, enjoying the fall foliage. So if you're up in Camden today, you might see her wander around up in Camden and Portland and around there. So say hi to her for me. And she'll be home later this week or next week. So we have that. What are some other things? Oh, let's go back to the tourism travel, the travel kind of stuff, or for retirees. One thing is, my mom was talking about research before you go. That's one of the biggest things. And especially, the thing is, when you're looking online, a lot of the research, a lot of stuff out there is not geared towards people my age or her age. It's geared toward like this theoretical 22-year-old that has all this money to travel the world, which isn't the case in the real world. And so there's not a lot of stuff out there in terms of baby boomer travel advice or retiree travel advice. So what we try to do with our videos is to give people like just travel advice that's going to help anybody. But what I'd say is, when you're reading reviews of hotels, of kind of stuff, you got to read between the lines, because some people will be super, super, petty, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
With the reviews?
Overly critical.
Yeah, you want to talk about this one? About the reviews and all?
Well, I read reviews.
My mom is awesome at finding hotels. Whenever we're like, that's a cool place, her and Jocelyn, dude, I don't even look.
But you have to read, and you have to look at, different sources. Sometimes you can find hotels, like in your Rick Steves book, Lonely Traveler, and they're all listed there. Go online, see what's available, but then read the reviews. Go online, TripAdvisor,
bookings, stuff like that.
And read the reviews, and read the current reviews, because something that wasn't good a year ago can be perfect. We went to Peru, the place we stayed at in Peru, out in the valley. The reviews weren't good. But we got there, and it was a fabulous place. So somebody did something. So reviews do count, but you want to make sure, what's important. It's like when I go to Europe, I'm expecting a small hotel room. I want to stay in a place operated by the locals. I don't want to stay in a Holiday Inn, or, I want to have that local experience. I want to get acquainted with the people. Sure. I want to eat breakfast. I want to eat what they eat. I want to be in a part of town that they, is the center. So don't expect some of the same services in a small German hotel or wherever you are that you would have
in the Holiday Inn or Hampton Inn or something like that.
Now, if that's what you want.
Thank you, Joe. But if that's what you want, because I know we have friends that their whole thing is like, I want to stay in a big, huge hotel wherever I go. And for us, because that's how we travel for, look, we're going there to sleep. We're going to go explore all day. Like, we wake up, have breakfast, go to the bathroom, and then get out of Dodge, and then we see the city, we come back, I'm so tired, I'll see you in the morning. That's what we do. But some people,
Or we want to go find a little local pub, and there we can meet some people, we can get acquainted, we can learn. Mark can usually speak the language, or so that's another point. Learn a few key words or learn to converse. Get prepared ahead of time. Learn a little of the language, because people will relate to you so much better, and you'll get so much better service.
Just trying.
By trying. They don't care if you can't talk perfectly.
Yeah.
You've tried.
Especially, and that's one thing I've seen with older travelers, because people know, well, they think of like old people don't speak other languages. I mean, it's just a blanket thing that people think. And the thing is, if you do speak a little bit and you try, like, you tried. I mean, I can't tell you free stuff. They'll be your best friend. They'll help you out. If you don't understand what they're saying, they're still going to try to
smile. It's like, I met this little Dutch
my mom
guy.
Rocks.
I met this Dutch guy.
Your mom rocks. So yes, my mom does rock.
I can't see, but I did. I met this little Dutch guy in Germany. The first time we went to Berlin, he said, "Oh, you understand German?" I'm going, no, just a little. No, not really. Oh, you understand. It's like I can understand a few words, and so people are excited when you try.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that trying, and a lot of things you'll see with retirement or baby boom travel advice, it's the same stuff that works for everybody. And that's one thing. Be prepared.
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't talked about restrooms.
Oh, yes.
And
this is important to my mom.
Yeah. I always go out where the restrooms are, and then I want to know, because, life is life. And anyway, so you want to find those restrooms that are cheap, affordable, or ones that you can easily pay for. And in Germany, many times there's a little person there, a little old lady, and she's going to take your money to go pee. So get ready. Have your money ready, or find a McDonald's. And sometimes there are, one of those fast food places. Those are great too, but sometimes you need coins. But and the restrooms, the toilets are going to vary from country to country, from holes in the ground in
Italy. We had that a few times.
Yeah, we did. And so you want to think about what you're wearing, because bathrooms are not clean places.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things. Like I teach marketing, and I'll make jokes about McDonald's bathrooms. How I'm not letting my kids go in there. But when we travel, McDonald's has some of the cleanest bathrooms we can find. And so it's one of those things you have to think about. And that's also, like, if you have, issues and you have to, go often and stuff like that, you kind of want to know, is like, where's the clean bathroom? Where should I go? So it might be you get up in the morning, you go, and sometimes what we'll do is we'll have our map, our city map, like of our hotels here. We'll go explore this side of the city, and then we come back to explore the other side. We hit the bathroom on the way back, and then we go see that side. So sometimes these things you want to think about. Jocelyn brings her potty toppers that go on there for if they got to sit down and stuff like that, because we've seen some really nasty stuff, not just in Europe, but around the world. Just these things you worry about.
And I was just thinking, as you expect the unexpected, and always have tissue with you, because you just never know.
Yes.
And the other, for people that are older, it's really important to exercise and to keep fit and to keep walking. And if you're thinking you're going to be going on a lot of walking, as you will do, make sure that you have increased, or that you're walking every day, so that you're used to it, so that you can really enjoy it and you can get to where they want to take you and where you want to go.
Yeah. Then one wrote, "Mom, how did you manage those steps in Amsterdam?" Well, you fell down a few of them the last time we went. About that battle part where Caleb cartwheeled down? You had like a little slide down.
Yeah, I had
because that's the one that had the...
Well, you move...
For those of you who don't know, in Amsterdam and a lot of places in Holland, you have these stairwells that are like this. Not like this, but like this. And it's almost like a ladder. We actually have that in our videos. And that can be really dangerous for somebody, especially with lots of luggage. You start to fall backwards.
Yeah. We stayed in a place in Bruges, and Mark had to carry the luggage upstairs. And this is when I was at least 15 years younger. And the steps were just like a ladder. Now that was to me the extreme, but I think Jocelyn just stayed in a place in Amsterdam like that. So for me, a backpack, there's some backpacks that you can carry and walk up these tougher steps. That might work, but that would be tough. And so you may want to go somewhere where there is an elevator. And
that's what we say, is ask. And yes, beep, it is dangerous for drinkers. I see the people going, yeah, so it can be that. Some of the questions people have been setting up. Israel, yes, we will be heading to Israel as well as Dubai. Lewis asked, would you recommend doing carry-on only in Europe? if you can do it, yes. That's what I do. I mean, I went to Europe I went for 10 weeks last year, but I went on multiple trips. And one of the trips, it was just me, and I just had a carry-on backpack roller bag. It's an Osprey. I love my Ospreys, okay? We have it in our Amazon shop, all kinds of stuff. But in there, I had that so I could put it on. So in case I need to do the backpack thing, I could do that because I did go to the Netherlands. But then if I wanted to drag it, I could. But it was all carry-on size, so I didn't have to worry about anything. Everything's with me. So I would definitely try to stick to the smaller bags and stuff. And here's what's crazy. They have post offices around the world, and you can mail your stuff back to you, so that can really help out. Oh, that's great, Floris. I'm glad our Madrid videos could help. We have some more Madrid videos I need to put out. That's the thing is sometimes I get so far behind on some of these videos. Cities you recommend that needs to be visited. Well, yes, there are the Parises and the Pragues and the Romes and the Londons and the Lisbons and Madrids and Barcelonas. St. Petersburg, Moscow, Lima, Peru, Rio de Janeiro, João Pessoa, Maceió in Brazil, Buenos Aires, Santiago. I like Colonia and Uruguay. I mean, Beijing, Shanghai. I mean, we're going to Tokyo. Shanghai. I can't wait to go to Tokyo or Kyoto. Sydney. I mean, there's so many great cities around the world. I mean, it's hard to say that.
Iceland.
Iceland, the whole country, Costa Rica, Nicaragua. Napoli's got a cool museum, and somehow you're going to think you're going to die when you cross the street. Just follow the locals and try not to poop your pants and being so scared.
Sicily is another, was fun to do.
Yeah, Sicily was pretty fun. Oh, my Kartoffelhunden, we're going later this year. We're doing Tokyo, Kyoto, and doing a bunch of day trips for there for about 12 days. So if you got any things, send us some things below to let us know, or send us some stuff on the Facebook page so we can get that, so we can get some more tips on Japan. So that's always cool.
And did you mention Berlin?
Yeah, Berlin was really cool. Yeah, Berlin was one of those things. Remember when you are traveling that what you think something's going to be is not necessarily that way. Like if you think of Germany, you're probably thinking of Bavaria with the big beer halls, the big beers.
Munich.
Yeah, that's Munich.
Yeah.
Berlin is this international city. You're like, whoa, this is all tech and stuff like this. Where's the half-timbered houses? Yeah, we don't do that in Berlin. Okay.
No, go to Quedlinburg.
Go to Quedlinburg or Wernigerode, where we're going to go later this year as well. So you have that.
Or Bamberg.
Yes, Napoli does have great pizza, by the way. San Diego 99. Oh, I'm going to San Diego next year, too, so maybe I'll see you there. I'm trying to read some of the other questions. Sinpei. Is that the place I should go? Come back to Scotland. Hey,
Yes.
Yeah, we love Scotland. And we were there, and I filmed a bunch of Scotland videos. They are coming. I just haven't got them out yet because I've got so much stuff. I'm trying to put it out. And that's why sometimes you're like, well, Mark looks different in this one because I finally got back to put this one up. So that's one of those things there. But lots of Scotland videos are coming. Don't worry.
Scottish heritage.
And here's one. Floris writes, Amsterdam is great, but the Netherlands has so much more to offer, as you already discussed in your videos. And it's right. And that's one of the things is a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to see London and I've seen England, or I've seen Paris when I've seen France. The thing is, you can go out and explore more, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. And I was just talking to one of my friends, and she had just been to Europe, and she didn't go. She went to Germany, and she didn't go to Berlin. She didn't go to Munich. She went to the small places. She went to Austria. She went to these cutesy towns and stayed at Airbnbs, and that's much more affordable. And they drove,
Yeah.
But the person that drove knows driving in Europe.
Yeah, and that's another thing for any kind of travelers, not just retirees, is the driving one. Driving can be quite complicated when you go abroad because of the signage and stuff like that. Like in Germany, the exit or the directions are based on the next town. But the thing is, I know where Berlin is, but I don't know where Woltersdorf is. And so that can be kind of complicated, or at the roundabouts and stuff. So I recommend if you're gonna have someone driving, have one. The person's gonna be the driver, and a person's gonna be a navigator, because that can be really, really a tough thing.
Yeah, you need a navigator and a driver.
Yeah, like my dad and I drove together, and when I drove, we yelled at each other. We realized he should drive and I should navigate. It works the same way with you, Mom, with my dad. But when we're with Jocelyn, I'll navigate and she drives because it goes the other way around. We figured out what works, and we'll prep beforehand, so I'll know what to look out for the driving. Someone wrote another one up here I want to talk about. Oh, do you recommend carrying a lot of cash or taking money out when you're there? Look, what I have, I'll have cash with me. Okay, so I've got some euros here with me. Okay, so I have that, but I don't have a ton of euros. No. I have enough, I might have like $200 with me or something like that. But it's more my emergency money. I won't carry anything more than 200. I carry less than that because I know that there's no point because you can pay with a credit card.
Or you can go and get money out of your
get money out of the ATM when you're
ATM.
there. And that's why is if you're looking for exchanging money, your best bet is using your local debit card to take out money at that bank. So let your bank know that you're going to be gone, and that card, make sure it's going to work in that country, and take money out that way because you're going to get your best exchange rate. Also, this is a big one, and they really screw over retirees. I get so mad at this all the time. I saw it in Ireland, I saw it in Poland, I saw it in Germany. I was so mad at this when they give you the option, we can already direct exchange your money. So if it's 100 euros, we can charge it so you know it's going to be $125, so you know it's going to show up in your account. And they make it sound so good, but the thing is, a lot of those places have insanely bad exchange rates. I know we were in the Czech Republic last year. It was 10% different from what they offered me to what I got on my bank. And there's a whole, I think it's TravelX. I don't know. There's a company that has ATMs around Europe, and they'll offer you that option. We can take that out. And man, you're losing like 8 to 10%. No. Say, I want to take it in euros. I want to pay in euros. You want to pay in the country currency you're in that country. Do not exchange it. Do not do they do it in dollars already, because you will get screwed. Sometimes it's only $1, $2, or 1%. Sometimes it's 10. So you really got to be careful with that. That's one thing I got really upset with some of the servers, because the servers aren't even the ones that know it. They're just told to do it, but they're screwing over the customers.
But again, it's always handy to have a few $1 bills.
Yeah. Like the little things like that, the tips here and there, or help the guide or the guy that's helping with your bag. And like my mom said, is those coins in Europe are worth something, and you might throw the coins down to use the bathroom and stuff. And sometimes it's not paying the bathroom; you're just tipping them because they're the one that cleans it, and that can make a really good deal. So here, because I want to driving. Any more hotel issues you want to call? Talk about grabbing the card. I'm gonna look through some of the questions. Grab the card of the hotel when you first get there.
Okay.
Because that was her idea.
Okay. When we travel, it's always a great idea when you get to the hotel to take, of course, there's a card there that identifies the hotel you're staying at. Pick that up, because that way you know where you need to get back to. If you need to, just say, put the date on it, here's where I am, here's the contact information. For instance, in China, you don't speak the language, you don't read the language, take the card, keep it with you at all times. And then that way you can give the card in Chinese to your Chinese cab driver and say, this is where I need to go.
Yeah, and because that's the thing is they might write it down in pinyin in China for you, which is like English letters or Latin letters.
Yeah,
or
you
whatever.
may ask
But
them
the thing
to
is
do
that the taxi drivers won't be able to read that, so you want to make sure it's in it so they can have it, have those things down there, because it does make a difference. And if you're going with your grandkids, put one of those hotel cards in their pocket or something like that, because if they get lost, they can show that to a cop or something, and they can find you. Okay.
And I always put our direction of where we're going to be, a schedule in my suitcase, so that if my suitcase ends up separated from me, they'll know where to take the suitcase. And especially, if you're on a fast, like when we go to Germany, we're going to go to Quedlinburg, and we're really not going to land in Berlin that much. So I want them to know where that suitcase needs to go if for some reason it's not there when I get there.
Exactly. Hi, Charlie in California. Hi, Fan La Tulipe Kuvisusu Vuvu. Hello. So we have that. Can you make my day and dab? Really? Come on, is this 2015? Do this? I need to have my son Kayla's best buddy David. He does it all the time. He's like, whoo! It's just kind of funny. So there you go. I dab for you. I will never do that again. But you have that there. See. Oh, honeymoon in September. So I'm trying to go through some of these questions because we're talking then doing that. So honeymoon in September. Look, September's a great time to honeymoon. What I'd recommend is middle of the month. One thing is because most every school is going back to school by the 1st of September. Some start a little bit later. But the thing is the 15th of September around there is when prices start to really drop. And so you can get better flight prices and hotel prices. In terms of places to go, pretty much anywhere that you'd like to be in the summer will still be nice in September. So that's what's really cool about it. But make sure you're looking and checking, because we were looking at going to, we're going to go to Southeast Asia, and we're looking, when do we want to go? Well, the kids are off in June, but that's rainy season. So maybe we want to do that as a December trip next year instead. And so you want to make sure you check out the weather kind of stuff. But honestly, any place you want to go in September that you wanted to go any other time of the year should be fine. Okay, because it's usually a really nice thing.
Whether the person wants to sunbathe or whether they want to see. Europe.
And if you want to do tourist sites, you can see those all year round. Like we travel. I mean, I travel every month. I was in October, and this month, and it's October. I was in Ireland. Is Ireland really a great winter or great October weather month? Nah, it was fine, and we had a great time. So you have that. Let's see. So I hope that helps you with the honeymoon suggestion in there. Iceland's still nice that time of the year. Costa Rica, nice. Well, you got to be careful, I guess, in Latin America and Caribbean in September because it's still hurricane season.
Yeah.
So I would probably maybe stay away from that one so much because, especially the Caribbean kind of stuff. Latin America and the Central America stuff, usually okay. In Central America, if you're going down to Latin America, that time, it's still like their winter, so...
So you want to probably wait till November, December for
December, end of December, because that's when rainy season kind of starts for South America. Anyway, I got some other things. One, Smiling Redhead, I hope they're still on here. It's been a while. They asked if we have any advice for disabled travelers. And I will say this, people can make fun of the U.S. all they want, but in terms of help for disabled travelers, the U.S. has the most things for you, from disabled rooms or easy access rooms to getting around to access to things. I mean, it's great in the U.S. for it. If you're going to like Europe, there's countries that do a better job. Like Scandinavia does a great job with helping travelers out there. But the thing is you have some of these old historic buildings. Like Ireland has Dublin has some good stuff for people with disabled travelers. But you can't go up the Blarney Castle if you're in there. So you want to be careful with that. But that is one of the things with travelers with any kind of disabilities, you really need to do your research beforehand. And what's cool, go ahead.
Well, and if you're going on a cruise, you probably want to make sure you have an elevator. If you're going to be in a hotel, make sure they have an elevator because if they don't say they have one, they probably don't have one. So, or if you're traveling with a group, and I think Mark said this, talk to the person that's in charge of the tour and say, I need certain accommodations.
Yeah. This guy.
Yeah.
Kind of getting on that. Hey, OP, just I can't close them up. Other things I want to talk about. Also with the disabled travelers, if you have limited mobility, the elevator things in lots of countries aren't the big ones. Sometimes they're very small one. And also for your big luggage, it might not fit the luggage or you, so you might send the luggage up and you got to run up for it. So you have that. Other things we want to talk about. So other people wrote. One traveler from India said, hey, I'm going for a solo visa to go visit the U.S. Will that be more tough than if I have a group visa? Those things, it really is a country-by-country thing and a person-by-person thing, because I've had friends that have had no problem to get it, and then I've had it where one person couldn't get it. So do your research beforehand, see what documents they need, make sure everything's in order, go to your interview, be dressed nicely, and have those things, and hopefully it'll be okay. Other things we want to talk about. Let's see what we have here. Rooftop bars in Madrid. There's actually a lot of them now. I can't tell you the exact name of them, but I know there's some actually by the palace that are really nice to go to. The Palacio Royal, the Royal Palace there. That's by the cathedral. That was really cool. I was there with a group there actually earlier this year, and we went to the rooftop bars, and they're really cool. To have a snack, the drink, look over the thing. So we'll wander around there, and sometimes like hostels and stuff at downtown will actually have a bar on the top, or restaurants will have a bar on the top that you can just go up and has a kind of a secondary thing. Is Thailand safe? Statistically speaking, it's one of the 20 most dangerous countries according to Mark.
No, we did go there.
The World Economic Forum or something like that, because they had one there. But the thing is, people go there and have a great time. Okay, my parents have gone there, have no problem at all. Yeah. So it's one of those things. Any place can be dangerous. And any place can be safe, but it's about knowing your things. That's why we have a video, 6 safety tips for visiting the U.S., safety tips for visiting the world, 14 things you should do not to get in trouble when you're there. So you have to worry about that. So I'm going to scroll up and see if there's any more questions on here.
We had a great time in Thailand, but we did do it as a side trip after we did the China tour. So we did have a guide. We did see, some of the highlights. I would like to go back to Thailand because there's a lot more to see in Thailand than the capital.
Yeah. So one wrote, my potato person's back. My hotel in Paris had a small elevator that went up through the middle spiral of a staircase and you could not turn around at it. Yeah, there's somewhere you walk in with your bag and then it closes behind you, and then when you get out you can't turn around, you have to walk backwards out of it. So, you got to be ready for this stuff. That's why you read the reviews. And if you're going to do a review, be helpful. Don't be like, oh, this place sucked, or this place was great. It's the best hotel ever. First off, I think that's the owner's mom that writes that, okay? Put in there, here's what the benefits were like: accessibility, breakfast, Wi-Fi, service staff, location. Put those things in there. It will make it a lot easier for you when you are traveling. So that is one of those things. Now, other stuff we want to talk about. So Adam Young says, rate my 5 travel destinations: St. Andrews, Edinburgh, Munich, Orkney, Skye, New York. New York, Skye, Edinburgh, Munich, Orkney, St. Andrews. That would be my one.
And see, somebody else could give you mine. I'd rank Scotland first.
Yeah, you have all the Scotland stuff because you didn't want to go to New York, so you have those things out.
Oh, well, I've been to New York, and I like New York, but
But you like
to go there
Edinburgh?
again. But
I'd rather go to Scotland.
I mean, while I'm this young, I want to go do those trips that are going to be more difficult the older I get. I plan on going to New York, maybe take my grandchildren to New York at Christmas time sometime.
Yeah. I'll have to tell Jocelyn that. She'll take you up on it.
Yeah.
Another thing is we're talking about, different times of the year to go. And that's the thing is really, really focus on what's going to be the things you want to do and the things you need to do.
And maybe if you are limited as to what season you can go in, then look at what options are in that particular season. Like we said, December, it's a great time to go to Germany to see those Christmas markets, and it's a great family experience. As far as being a honeymoon destination, maybe not so much so, but it depends upon your interest, your lifestyle, your age.
Yeah, and there are other
and
things.
Your budget.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of. There's one other thing I was thinking about with the hotels. I can't think of what it was. Can we think of anything else? Does anyone have any retirement-focused questions or anything else? Because if you can send us some more questions on there. Because I know Beep 848 really wants us to be there for their wedding in San Francisco. We'll see. I said
I would like to go to
there.
San Francisco sometime. Yeah.
So OPO, you have a non-Donald Trump. Yeah, France. Yes, France is a great place to go. That's one thing is France.
There's so much.
There's so much to see and do.
You could go to the Provence area.
Loire Valley.
Don't
Normandy.
plan on doing a whole lot at. Focus your area because you can't get. In France, you cannot easily get from one part of France to another. Focus on the Provence area, focus on the Normandy area, focus on Paris, or do Paris and one of those options.
Yeah.
And there's more to see in France than those two places.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is a place like. Sorry, I was trying to turn off one of the people there because they're just getting too many comments were not on topic. I will say about France, the number of tourism with the terrorist attacks that have happened there over the last few years, tourism has dropped by a third in France over the last couple of years. I mean, it's noticeably less tourists there, but we still go. We still love it. We love France. We love the French people, the food. Every time we've gone, we've had a fantastic time. And a lot of people think, oh, France, well, they're mean people anyway. I'm like, dude, because the tourist, the waiter at a tourist restaurant in the most touristy city in the world, with the most tourists in the world, is kind of a jerk. You take that as the whole country. No. Don't do that. And that's not just Paris. That's anywhere. You just got to go out and explore, and you're going to find great people all over the place.
Remember the little lady we found in Blois, France?
Oh, yeah.
Told us we were on the street looking around, and it was just the...
She went all tour guide on us. It was like, you need to know this. Or when we were in Norway, the lady you walked into her store.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we find people. You want to tell her about that? It's St. Patrick's Day, 1995, I think.
Oh, yeah, in Norway.
It was a long time ago. And we went to the store, my mom liked her stuff, and she started talking with her.
Yeah, and
my mom, you had dinner. Oh, you go ahead.
Well, she invited me to dinner, and so we went to dinner, and she invited her friend. And the friend said, well, I would like for you to come to my house, which was an apartment, for dinner. And so the three of us went to the dinner, and then they took me out afterwards to a bar. It was St. Patrick's Day, and they took me all around the city, showed me their homes. They couldn't have been more cordial. And amazingly enough, here I am in a St. Patrick's in an Irish bar in Norway, at about 3 a.m. in the morning or 4 a.m. and I'm coming back to my son.
Yeah, because I had met some Norwegian younger people, and so like we on the street, I just talked to them, and so like we both had this great time with locals, and we meet back up at like 3 in the morning, and we're walking back to our hotel, which apparently was by the red light district, because as I'm walking down, I was very thin then, I had long, beautiful blonde hair, and this guy like pulls over, "Hey baby," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh my God!" He drives off, and he realized I was a guy. It was pretty funny, but you can have all these great experiences when you do travel, and you just open up to talk to people. But one of the issues you have is a lot of times when we travel, we're stuck on those devices. And so we're looking at the GPS, we're looking at reading our things, and we're watching the videos, and we're not experiencing what's out there. So use the devices and these kind of things to help you out. Well, like longer hair, it was actually long up here too. There was hair up here too, by the way.
Yeah, there was.
For my there. But get off the devices sometimes, use that for the research, but once you get there, talk to the locals. Because we've met people, every single trip we've ever gone on, we've met people, and it's been a really fun time. And it's not just because I'm like, I need to meet a local to talk to them. No, it's like, hey.
And hotel operators will remember you if you decide or you make a referral. I mean, they will be most accommodating. Mm-hmm. And we've had wonderful experience. That one in Norway was like unbelievable. I've gone places where I'm a Rotarian, and I go to attend a Rotary meeting, and I meet all kinds of special people that are Rotarians and in the community. So, make it, if you're a retiree, you can do that. If you're a baby boomer, you can do that. Take time to get acquainted do some things that the locals do too.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you like with my mom with genealogy, she's met a lot of people just going through that. And when I was in Scotland earlier this summer, we went to where our family is buried. Like they have a crypt and the things on there. And the ladies there, we ended up talking to her for like half an hour just about, the history, that was this and this. And we learned so much just by asking. And that's what's so cool is when you're a retiree, you have the time. The people are willing to talk to you. They know it's going to be more of a conversation thing. And it's really one of the best parts of traveling is meeting all these people. So.
Yeah, and I see it every day. I was just in Santa Fe with a high school friend of mine, and she is passionate about this mission there. And we went there, and she was talking to people, and it was wonderful to see her in retirement and what fun she was having meeting people in Santa Fe.
Yeah, and that's what's cool.
And it's an experience.
Yeah. So we have some other questions here or comments. What am I drinking? It was ice water. Don't worry. It's like
Cheers.
It's now 11 in the morning. It is a Saturday though, but still.
It is a Saturday. Yeah.
We have to wait till noon.
Beyond noon.
Beyond noon. So that's that. Adam writes, go to Africa maybe. Yes, we are putting one of those together. That's one of those ones where we're trying to find the right time of the year to go. Because we have little kids and stuff like that.
Safari.
Yeah, so we're looking to do a safari. So one of the things I want to do is I want to do like the southern part, do a safari around there, South Africa, Namibia, those kind of things.
And I think that'd be a great family trip.
Yeah, so that
would be something of a lifetime. Egypt.
Yeah, Egypt's another thing.
And I would like to go to Turkey.
Yeah, so there's that, but then Johnson really wants to do Uganda and Rwanda. So we're trying to figure out can we do it if we can do like a few month trip and do the part with my parents down there for that. Then we go out to Rwanda and see those things, do something else. So there is some things we're working on, but like sometimes these trips are really expensive and I can't do them all. I mean, we want to go to all these places people ask.
India would be very interesting.
Yeah, India would be great to go to as well. I mean, there's so many places we want to get to, but time and money are two of the things. It's tough to always.
And the older you get, sometimes you have more time and less money, but then again, you have your health. And if you don't have your health, you got to travel while you're healthy. Mark said. He said to my husband, "You need to travel now, Dad, because you're younger. When you get to be 70 plus, you're not going to want to go as far. You're not going to want to do as much." And how true that is.
And that's the thing is with my parents, because I would say my parents kick-started their traveling like when I was doing my master's in Germany, which was 20 years ago almost in Berlin. They came for a long weekend because they'd gone on a few trips with their friends and group tours and stuff. But that's when they realized, like, hey, we can do this. And we started talking. We'd do a trip because I lived there for about 15 years. And so they'd come.
Every time he'd have a vacation, we'd go over there and visit, and we'd go see something else. We didn't go to Berlin every time. We would go meet him in Munich, or we would go to Italy, or we would go to Sicily.
Yeah, I'd find a place like, wait, where would you guys like to go? I'll make it work with
Paris,
my time.
Or Lithuania.
Yeah, Lithuania.
Latvia.
We had a great time there. And the thing is I got to stress, I'm getting older now too, and I can feel the difference from when you travel in your 20s versus your 30s versus your 40s versus your 50s versus your 60s.
And I can see a difference between the 60s and the beginning of the 70s.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's why I tell people, it's like, look, I told them they came to China in 2013, and I was like, you guys need to come now because it's going to be tough. We want to do this. We want to do the African safari stuff. That's what we want to do, but we know we got to do it sooner rather than later because it does get harder, and you do get more tired, and you do. Cobblestones are tough if you have bad ankles or a bad knee,
or your feet hurt all the time.
Yeah, and then you have really bad stuff like cancer and stuff like that. We've had friends that they retired in March.
And died in
October.
Yeah,
he retired in March, found out he had pancreatic cancer in April, and he was gone. And he had all these plans to travel. And that's one thing is, don't always wait till you're retired to travel.
Take a Christmas holiday or plan your vacation so that you can go somewhere.
Yeah. And if the kids aren't in the house anymore, you can go at random times. My college students I teach, they're like, yeah, my parents go and do stuff now. I'm like, yeah, because they're not paying for you anymore. And you can have that and use those times to use that October cheap travel or that February cheap travel and stuff like that. Because you know what? You don't live forever, and you can't take the money with you. And if you get a chance to explore, go explore. And I'm not saying go every single time, but
it is an education, and in living longer is about enjoying life and finding experiences that enrich you and inspire you. And travel can do it as nothing else can.
And I couldn't say it better than that one. Couldn't say it better than that. So I'll finish off with a few things here because I can't top my mom. What would you pick between South Africa and Japan? That's a tough one because Japan's quicker to get to for us. We're actually going to Japan this year. Hopefully South Africa will be next year. Baltic tour, best by train or bus. Baltic, you're going by bus. There's no trains. If there are, don't waste your time. Just take the buses. It's faster. Solo travel across Europe. No. Dangers with traveling Europe. No, not really. Just pay attention. Pickpockets are a big thing. U.S., we don't have pickpockets. We have muggings, so it's different. There's the pickpockets and bag snatches, but
Southern
you'll be okay.
Europe may be a little bit more pickpockety and more dangerous than some of the northern, but again.
But I've seen people being pickpocketed there, so you just gotta keep your eyes about you, whether you're young, middle, mature. So you have those things like that. And then Alexander writes, have you ever visited Pontanal? Yes, I have. I've been to the Barraca de Piranha, the hole of the piranhas. I had a great time there. I got to fish for piranhas and swim with them. The jacaré, the alligator things down there. It was fantastic. So I hope you guys.
That was a few years ago.
That was a few years ago, but it was a great time. But I will say thank you everybody for tuning in. I know this. Talking about travel and retirement, baby boomer travel advice. I can see by the number of viewers that it probably wasn't the most popular thing out there for the typical YouTube crowd. But if you are watching this, and I hope it does help, if you're a boomer or not, to help you get ready for your travels abroad. And we got to talk about some of these topics. And my mom and I are going to be making, my dad, we are going to be making a whole series on videos for baby boomers and retiree travelers to help them out, because there are issues. You need to go more in depth with the money side of it and insurance kind of stuff like that. So we really appreciate all you watching. Thank you very much. Mom, you want to say anything?
It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. So you can check her out. You can check me out. You can do whatever. We really appreciate it. So they're all saying thanks to your mom. So
thank you.
You have a great time. We'll say bye from my mom's house. I don't live in my mom's basement, just so you know. I have my own house. Bye.
Bye.